What's good, y'all? It's your man Sight, and today I'm gonna walk y'all through a couple techniques that I use to tune my 808s, as well as find the key to my sample using the pad perform mode that's on the MPC. Now this is gonna work whether you have standalone or the software, so if you're one of those people that thinks the MPC needs a key finder, you might wanna check this one out. Let's get to it. Let's get busy. All right, welcome back, y'all. We are back in the lab, and once again, my name is Sight. I make videos about creating dope music using the MPC, as well as other tools for producers and content creators. So if you like this content, make sure you hit that like and drop some love down in the comments down below. And if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. All right, so first things first, let me show you guys what I did. I went ahead and found a piano sample. Just something I found in a demo kit that I had. Real dramatic kind of piano sample. Nothing too fancy. All right, so I got that looped at about 136. And let's go ahead and find the key now, right? So we got that laid out. What I'm gonna do is I went to another track and I pulled up in my browser the F9 expansions, right? Now this will work with different instruments, but typically I like to choose a piano to find the key. It's just a little easier in my opinion. But you can use any synthesizer that's on key and that you know it's on key. So this is the F9 expansion that comes with the MPC 1, and it's also going to come with the MPC Live 2. But it is available for purchase. It is a really dope kit. However, any piano multi-sample that's in key is going to work for this, all right? All right, so we went ahead and loaded that up on a key group. All right, you see it here, F9 grand piano. And what we're going to do is hit pad perform. I'm going to go ahead and play the loop. All right, and we're going to go to bank C. That's going to be kind of like our middle keys. And we're just going to go through and find the first note, right? So when you hit play, that first note on the one, that's what we want to find our root note. So it sounds like the root note is F. Right? Because we tried the other ones. Not quite. The F is going to do it for us. All right, cool. So we're off to a good start. Now, we know that it's F. Let's go ahead and hit the notes button here. All right. And then we're going to come back down a few octaves. Come back to bank A, because what you see happen there is once we went to notes, it's going to put it into a scale for us down here. And this is F major, right? So let's bring it down to F. Let's bring the octave down to 0. All right. And now all the red keys on pad perform are going to be F. Okay. So we just find the same one we were hitting before. We know that's our root note. So we know the root note is F, but we don't know if it's major or minor. So now we can mess around with the different scales now that we know the root note is F. And it should be easy to hear the notes that are on key. Let's go ahead and listen to it. That's off. No, it's not harmonic minor. Sounds like we have a match, right? So now that we know it's F pentatonic major, it's going to make it a lot easier to add other instruments. Obviously, we don't want to use another piano in the track because the sample has a piano in it. But as I said before, it's kind of easier to hear the tones in a piano. So I think it's a really good instrument to use to find the key. So now that it's in key, we can keep this setting on our pad perform. Now, every time we go to a different track and we find another instrument, for instance, here we have tube synth. Go ahead and pull up pad perform again. And as you can see, it's still on F pentatonic major. And now we have a synthesizer on here, right? So we're locked in. We don't have to keep the pad perform screen up. We already know. So this is something I really like about 2.8. They actually let you browse different patches while the pad perform is still active, while your pads are still lit up red and yellow. All right, so let's go ahead and find, I don't know, a pluck. Sounds pretty cool. Let's go ahead and add a little reverb on that, just so it sounds a little better. Let's go down to our air reverb here. So as you can see, once you have the scale locked in, you can get pretty fancy with your accompanying instruments. And you don't have that pressure of trying to find the right keys and keep your fingers locked in. For somebody like me who never really learned how to play, I can hear the notes, but keeping them on the keyboard across different octaves is just a whole nother challenge. So again, if you're not really strong in music theory like myself, you can just kind of hear the notes. There's a really quick way you can kind of lock in on it, and I think it'll help a lot of people. All right, that was pretty cool. Let's try it on a different sample and see if we can find the key on that one too. All right, here's the second sample. Kind of like a voice sample. All right, so we're just gonna listen for that first note. And you can just keep restarting the sample if you want to. But let's go ahead and lay that down. And let's just set it for 4 bars for now. All right, so same thing. Let's go over to our grand piano. All right. And one thing to remember is if you don't see the pad perform in the bottom right corner of the screen, remember to hit your eyeball over here and move that out of the way, and your pad perform will come back. All right, so we're gonna go to our grand piano. We're gonna hit our pad perform again. And this time we're gonna do it a little bit different. It's the same concept, except instead of turning notes off, we're gonna keep notes on, right? And then we're gonna go to our root note here. It's still on F, and we're gonna change it using this field here, all right? So let's just cycle through the notes as it plays. All right, let's hit stop and play. Sounds like G, right? All right, boom, so we got it. Sounds good. So now we know we're in G. Let's go ahead and play through the notes as the sample's playing and see if it's on key. Doesn't sound right. So let's try another one. Let's go back to the beginning. We know it's not major. Sounds about right. So it's pretty simple. You're not looking for a really complicated type of scale. You're just trying to find your main scales, and this technique can find most of them. So as you can see here, we've got G minor scale, and anything we play on the keyboard is gonna be on key. All right, so let's go back to our tube synth plugin while the sample's playing and just kind of mess around with it and see what we can come up with. I be cooking it, and I just serve you the sauce. You feel me? All right, so that's pretty cool. That's an easy way I find to add accompanying instruments when you already have a sample loop laid down. You want to know what key it's in. It does require you to use your ears a little bit. However, it is really efficient. And once you got it locked in, smooth sailing for the rest of your beat. All right, for the next trick, tuning 808s. This one works in a similar way. We're gonna use pad perform and that piano patch to actually tune our 808. All right, so let's go ahead and do that now. All right, so first things first, we're gonna go to a track. This one I just chose 7, just so it's next to 8. I usually put my bass lines on 8. All right, so first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna load that piano patch again. And if you're in the software, you know, you can use a VST or whatever piano you have. And we're gonna find C. Let's go to pad perform once again. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and find C2. All right, and let's go ahead and lay that down on the track. I'm gonna hit record and play start. It's a really simple pattern, right? All right, now we're gonna go over to our bass track, which is gonna be 8 from me. And you usually wanna keep it close so you don't have to scroll through a whole bunch of tracks to do this. All right, so we're gonna create a new key group here. All right, go ahead and load in an 808 with the program edit. And let's go ahead and load in an 808 here. Let's go ahead and load this one. Now your 808s might have the key in the name, but sometimes you can't trust it. Sometimes it's off. So in this case, if you don't have it in the name or you just don't trust it, here's the technique I use just to double check it. All right. All right. So we have our 808 loaded up here. Okay. And let's go over to hit the pan velocity tab and make the root note C1. Okay. Now, if you believe the note is accurate on the sound that you're using, you can go ahead and change it to that now, and that should be in key for you. But if it doesn't have the name, or if you don't think it's accurate, just put it on C1 and we'll make the adjustments later. All right, so now we can go ahead and do the adjusting and make sure it's on key with the piano samples. All right, so we're gonna go back to program edit. We're gonna go to master, and we're gonna keep hitting our C1, all right? All right, so we know our note is off, and we're gonna adjust the semitone knob here. Now you can do it here. You can also do it in samples. I like to do it in the master just to make sure it affects the entire key group. Let's go ahead and play it. Sounds like we're close. Now we can also use the fine adjustments here if we feel like it's just a little bit off, and you can go ahead and play that too. All right, this sounds much better. It sounds like it's resonating. Now we can do the cool stuff. Go to transpose, drop it 2 semitones. And that's it. Now our 808 is tuned. We know the piano was already tuned. And now once we know the scale of our sample and our 808 is in tune, it's gonna be real easy to lay those 808 patterns down, right? All right, here we go. Pull up our pad perform, hit notes. We were in the G natural minor. Might as well go ahead and add some drums to that. All right, guys, so those are my 2 pad perform hacks that I use to keep me on key on my beats. I hope they help you guys out as much as they help me. Pad perform is really a tool that's helped me step my game up when it comes to my melodies, as well as counter melodies and finding additional sounds to go along with my sample loops. Thanks again for watching. I appreciate all the support once again on the channel, as well as with the MPC Gang merch. Make sure to come check us out at MPC Gang on Facebook. Just look us up, we'll pop right up. And if you like this one, make sure you catch my next video, all right? Catch you on the next one. Peace.